right now.
Oh wow, that was fast.
Yeah, I don't need an introduction.
Yeah, I stopped doing introductions recently.
Because I reckon, like, just starting, because I think too hard, because I'm like, oh, how do I start the stream? No, I'm just gonna start it. Yes.
I usually just like, we usually want to say some things before the stream starts, so I like put the music on, so I wait for people to come in so they don't miss it, and then I start it up after like
Thank you
2
for
to 3 minutes.
subscribing for fucking 4 months in a row, Negotiator 123. Oh, Caboose comes in my stream and says maggots in my pussy. I'm so mad you guys didn't hear that full story. I could summarize it up for you, you know. Do you want to hear?
Me? Oh.
Both of you.
Sure, go for it.
Henry, do you know what I was talking about?
Yeah, sorry, I was trying to fix the other mic. It's just it literally just killed itself. Okay.
I think you sound okay.
Yeah. Okay, if this is fine, I'll just use this for now.
Yeah, so basically, while Anna was getting food and while you weren't in the voice call at the time, I was telling it's the people in Anna's Discord about a girl who shoved maggots in her pussy.
Okay.
And
I've had this story
so
before,
she had this fetish, like where she liked shoving garbage in her pussy, and so she took the extra step to actually shove maggots in her pussy.
And bottlenose flies fly out? Is that the story?
Wait, what?
Is that the story where the flies, like, they go through the maggots and they fly out of a pussy?
No. It's a lot scarier than that.
There's
So she
another
keeps. Whoa, what the fuck? Why are there 2 instances of this? Alright, so basically the girl shoves a bunch of maggots in her pussy, she walks back home, and she stays in bed for like 2 days because she says it feels so good, and she just kept orgasming. And so she didn't get up to eat, she didn't even get up to go to the toilet. So she just shit herself and pissed herself in bed for like 2 days. And there was an instance where she just grabbed her shit and smeared it all over herself for some reason, because she thought it was hot. And then she passed out and she woke up in a hospital, which implies her parents found her like that.
Yeah.
So it's pretty funny.
We should get a sequel. I'm actually kind of curious how, like, the hospital and her parents would react.
Oh yeah, just finding her like that. I mean, I'd assume naturally that, like, maybe she was forced into doing that. I don't know. Like, what story? Would she make up a story or would she just confess?
Be like, I fell into a garbage can and they attacked.
Yeah, exactly. One maggot fell into my pussy and it multiplied into hundreds. That's how it works. Alright, I should read my chat. Hello Slazo, welcome to the stream. Hyojin, what the fuck? Imagine being parents to this kid. I think if my kid did this, I'd just like shoot them and call it a late abortion at that point. Because that's... I don't know what you have to do to turn out like that. What the fuck happened to this kid?
Why did you kill your rice friend, Hyojin? What the fuck?
I don't know, it was really tasty.
What? That work.
I guess you could say I did it for. Haha.
No, I don't think you can say that.
Oh my god, this picture's so adorable. The one that you tweeted out for the stream.
Hmm?
The, like, Oliver and Thomas.
Oh yeah, no, I thought it was dumb because, like, they didn't even, like, succeed in making a heart. They just made an autistic, like... Hyojin, what do you... Why is there just one singular emoji to unlock if you stop? I don't know, it's more of like a Twitch, what's it called? Twitch... It's not a partner, it's a Twitch... Affiliate thing. If I was a partner, I could have like 50 emojis and you could use them all if you subscribe. But I'm not a partner yet, although I did apply, so, you know, maybe one day. I'm mostly interested in how that girl got fucked. Was she born like that or did something happen to her? Do you think, like, you know fetishes, right? They happen because, like, something happens to you as a kid and then you find it, like, hot and it just develops from there, right? Is that how it works?
Yeah.
So, like,
Is that how it works?
I don't know, I'm assuming it is. Like, if you...
No, that's the theory, yeah.
That's the theory, yeah, because you grow up...
So, like, okay, you're watching Kirby, right?
Yeah.
And you find Kirby attractive.
No. It's like, okay, let's say for example, right? You're like at a friend's house and you're young, like, say, I don't even want to put an age, just say you're young, right? And like, let's say like a friend like hits you or like smothers you with a pillow, you'd have a fetish for like, I don't know,
Getting
suffocation or
choked.
something like that.
Getting choked
Yeah.
or like, you know...
That's like the game theory.
Or like maybe you, let's go into the furry territory. Maybe you watched like fucking Lion King as a child and you thought, wow, these lions are like, for some reason, really attractive, and you end up.
Dragon Tales!
Wait, what?
There was a show called Dragon Tales and there were a bunch of dragons.
Oh yeah.
And then you wanted to fuck a dragon when you grow up?
No, I'm just saying, like, I could understand where the scaly, isn't there like a scaly, like, reptiles and dragons fetish?
Well, yeah, there's different genres of furries. There's like feather characters, and there's like those are birds, and then you got the scalies, and then you just have the animals and whatnot.
Where do feet come into play? That's a
Feet?
really common fetish, isn't it? Or is it so, like, popular because everyone finds it so weird?
I think like the main reason why fetishes happen is because it feels wrong. Like it's taboo, so then that's what usually makes it harder for people, that it's wrong.
Mm-hmm.
So
I bet you,
I saw
like-
a poll on Snapchat the other day, and it said that I think it was like 60% of like guys watch weird pornography to get off to, which I thought was like
60?
retardedly interesting. Yeah, it was like 60%.
Jesus.
I've
That's
had
a
friends before at
high
college turn around to me
percentage.
and they're like, you know, when you like accidentally click something, you think it's super weird, but you just keep going with it anyway.
I saw a meme that was like, you watch like the fucked up porn or whatever, and then after you're like done, then you're like, what the fuck am I watching or something? There was like a funny meme about that.
Goat with horse cock. What the fuck?
What?
What?
Goat with
I
horse
don't
cock?
know.
Oh, you know, diapers are a
Fairies.
fetish. Diapers are a fetish. That can equate to like I know how that works. Is that like people like being babied because it's kind of like a safe space for them, if that makes sense.
Or maybe like they had mother
diaper.
problems and they want to be really nurtured because they didn't get as a child.
The story reminds me of an
Oh.
old execution method. The prisoner would be shipped nude, fastened inside a
Stripped
hollowed
nude.
out tree trunk. Sorry, I can't read from here. Hold on, let me move closer to my monitor. He'd be forced to eat honey and milk and be drenched in honey to attract flies. He'd then be left to float in a stagnant. Okay, you know what? I can't speak English today. Someone want to read that for me?
I'll read it. The prisoner would be stripped nude, fastened inside a hollowed out tree trunk with his head and limbs sticking out. He'd be forced to eat honey and milk, and then he'd be drenched in honey to attract flies. He'd then be left to float on a stagnant pond where his shit would fill the tree trunk, insects would come and begin breeding and eating inside the victim, basically turning him into an insect buffet until he died. So I read up on this torture, and it lasts from 2 to 4 weeks.
Are they fed?
Are they fed? What?
Yeah.
No, the prisoners are forced to like eat honey and milk because that like
Right.
forces them to shit out, right? Because it's milk, and also the smell attracts loads of bugs, and mixed with shit, the insects are just gonna come and eat them alive, you know. And that is like the slowest death I think I can think of in torture history.
So that was real?
Yeah, that's real. That's a real torture that was performed.
Holy shit, I've never heard of that.
I do like I love reading up on medieval tortures because it's like Jesus.
Oh, same. Yeah.
How is humanity like at
Like,
one
how
point?
bad can it get?
At one point, how do you become that evil? Like at what point did humanity just realize, wow, we should stop this. We should stop being
Well,
assholes.
You, me, and Surreal were in call, and we are talking about Greek mythology and whatnot. And like, they had these crazy stories where like, so like Zeus would like transform himself into like a bird of some sort, and then like he was so into like, there were so many stories of him like raping girls. He raped this one girl, and she laid eggs to her son. Like, it was like that existed all the way back then. Like, furries and all that stuff are not new. All these fetishes are not new. They've like been around for so long. It's just
yeah.
weird to think about that.
Also, he trapped a girl in a bronze cage, and to impregnate her, he turned into like a golden cloud and just let golden rain like leak onto her pussy, and then she just got pregnant like that. I don't know how that works. Greeks are fucking weird.
Yeah, and there was the other one that we read, which was like, what was it? Oh, this guy that he saved, he brought back to his village, or his place, and he had a crush on his wife, Hera or whatever.
Yeah.
And he made like a duplicate of his wife in a cloud form, And so the guy that he brought back, just to see like if he was tempted, like had sex with her, and the cloud got pregnant.
Yep.
And that cloud gave birth to a guy who ended up fucking horses and ended up making a breed of centaurs. Like, that's how the centaurs came to be. From his cloud. It's just like, what? This is actual Greek mythology, right? Dated back so long ago. And it's just the weirdest thing.
Ugh. I think of methods of torture like tying legs together and making them crawl in a hallway of glass. I think the worst torture in my, like, that I've read up, because this is, like, I hate this thought of it, is, like, the brazen bull. Yeah. It's like, have you guys heard of that? The brazen bull?
No.
Okay,
No.
so basically these people are, it's a bull with a hollowed out inside, and people are put into the bull, and there's a fire lit under it, and since the whole bull is made out of bronze, metal, the whole thing is just gonna sear, like, cook that person alive. And basically, whenever that person screams, the way the bull was made was that the screams would come out like bull noises. And it would just melt the person. I just don't like. I hate tortures that involve like burning. It's just ill.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
I mean, you've heard about like what they used to do to witches here, right, in the UK?
Burn them or press them with rocks, or drown them.
The drowning one used to fuck me up. Like, they used to fucking, like, tie them to, like, basically chairs and then, like, lower them into, like, a lake. And, like, if they drowned, then they were innocent. If they
Yeah, I remember that.
survived, they were guilty of being a witch.
That's so
and then they would
unfair.
be-
Like, either
then they
way,
would
you
be
just
burnt
die.
alive. Yeah, so if you, for some miraculous reason, survived, you would then be burnt on the stake.
The thing about that though is like, it was like back in the day, right? Because there was like the Salem witch trials back here in America, and they would do these witch things. It was mainly the reason why it became so popular, right? It's because people would just accuse people they didn't like, right? So say our neighbor is making too much noise.
Just as
Oh,
you
they're a
mentioned
witch.
the brazen
And
bull,
once you
I was
say
about
that,
to
people
type
get
it in
suspicious, and then
Thank you for
like
the
they
donation,
would
Crazy
fucking
Ace
test
King.
it. It was
Sorry.
like a cover up.
Jesus. Oh, someone. What about the lead
Someone
sprinkler?
donated.
It was no, it's like this other torture someone put in. So it was usually filled with molten lead, tar, boiling water, or boiling oil. It was used to torture victims by dripping the contents onto their stomach or other body parts like eyes. Using this device, the torturer would proceed to pour molten silver on the victim's eyes, which resulted in agonizing pain and eventual death. That's a Game of Thrones death, isn't it?
Is it?
Yeah, there's someone died in Game of Thrones by having like molten silver poured over their head. It was really brutal. Fuck that. But that was also real torture, I assume. So,
Mm-hmm.
ugh.
The
Ugh.
thought of torture is weird as fuck. Like, most people don't even, like, experience extreme pain for a very long time throughout their life, so the thought of even extreme pain, like, I've never extreme, like, severe extreme pain.
Yeah, the only extreme pain I've experienced is like dislocating my shoulder probably, or like just I was on a swing and I tore my left arm open. And actually that is extreme pain. What am I talking about? That's horrible.
Yeah, I
It was
just
the worst
smashed my
pain.
toe.
It was the worst
And I
pain
had-
I've ever experienced my entire life.
Where did it
It's-
rip? Like, what ripped?
Basically I was on a giant swing. I've told this story like loads of times, but I like telling it because it's horrifying.
Yeah.
I was on a giant swing, it's about 50 meters above the ground. And they told me, when I reached the top, they told me, yo, pull on the red rope. And there were two, like, kind of red ropes in front of me, so I just pulled both of them. And I assumed that's what I did wrong, because my left arm got caught, but I kept swinging down. So the arm continued to, like, rip through my left arm as I swung down. So when I got to the ground, I looked down and I realized, fuck! Because, like, there's just this gaping hole in my left arm, and, like, there's, like, fucking torn muscle and everything. And I was like, apparently, I don't remember it, but apparently I was screaming, but I don't remember screaming. I just remember passing out. And I remember my friend saying afterwards, she said, yeah, when I went on the ride next, I could literally see like bits of your arm on the rope, and I was like, holy fuck me.
Oh
Yeah.
my god.
Yeah, that was fun. I'm never going on camper again ever. So.
Oh, it's one of those giant swings where they lift you up and then you hold onto a rope and you swing down.
Yeah, except
And your arm was like up in the air, was it?
my arm got
It's
caught in like the rope and I just kept swinging down. So it was just like really, really, really extreme bad rope burn.
Oh,
Yeah.
Jesus, fuck. It's like, Jesus Christ, that's like one out of like a million fears of those fucking swings. I hate those things.
So that happened about 10 years ago, and I still have the scars like mostly healed, but it's still there. Like you still like see pigments of skin on my arm. So that's a cool story.
I have one experience, but it's it's like, oh, do I tell this story?
Go on.
Okay, so like, you know, like metal climbing frames that you have as a kid. I had like a huge one in my garden, like it's like basically like a gorilla, like a gorilla enclosure, so to speak. It's like like fucking swinging bars and shit like that, right? Well, there were loads of like nuts and bolts hanging off of those,
Oh, no.
like just sticking out. And it's funny that I mentioned nuts and bolts. So it was raining, and I went out in like no shoes at all. It wasn't like heavy rain, but it was wet outside. And I climbed the ladder and I slipped backwards when I got to the top. It's about, I want to say it's like 6 foot off the ground, but I was probably like 7 or 8.
Yeah,
And I
probably
slipped
felt a lot bigger than it actually was.
I slipped backwards like full on, and like slipped down the ladder, and it ripped through my shorts. And, like, I completely tore my testicle.
Oh my god!
Oh.
Ah! Holy shit!
I remember.
Oh my god.
I was lucky because it wasn't too bad. I say too bad. It didn't need like. It needed butterfly stitches, but it wasn't too bad. But I remember being sat down because I never thought it was that painful. After I was like, "Ow, my back!" I land on my back, and then I got inside and I was like, "Okay, I'm bleeding." Like it's really bad.
Yeah, no, the adrenaline, like you don't
down.
feel the pain for a few like minutes even, and then you look
Yeah,
down and you
take a
realize
while.
you're hurt, and then you're like, oh, that's a thing.
I remember there's like the engine to the boat and it's like a giant door, it's like half the boat. My toe we were closing it and I was closing it and I was on the other side, like where the door jamb is, because I was closing it from behind. My toe ended up getting smushed in the door jamb and it split open because of the pressure, like the bottom of my toe, and I didn't feel any pain up until the point when I had to get stitches in it, which is like I drove maybe like an hour and waited and then like all that stuff. My toes just like, you know, doing its thing and like didn't feel any pain until I got into like the actual hospital room. So it had been like an hour of adrenaline.
Jesus.
I
Yeah,
remember
you
one
don't feel
time-
pain until you actually start to get help.
I mean, the one time I did feel the pain instantly that I just remembered was when, so my grandma was leaving, and I was like waving goodbye to her out the door, and as I went to wave out the door, like I come around the corner to wave, I put my hand through the door, and she just slammed the door in my hand. She was just like, fuck you. She was just not looking at all, and she caught like all the fingers in, but like only 2 got like really hurt. I was like, ah, fuck, and I remember it didn't hurt like instantly, it was pretty like a couple minutes. And I was like, oh, okay, that's gonna bruise up badly. And I was like, it's not the end of the world. And then I went to wave out the window, and this is like, so like the window next to it. I went to wave out the window, and for no fucking reason at all, she slammed that window. Like she slammed the window. So like, okay, who leaves a house? They close the door, and then they close their windows for them too. Why? Why would you do that? And she caught the same hand and the same finger. I remember it just being like. Then it hurt.
That's just almost fucking
my
comedic.
God.
You're just
That's
having a
really
fucking bad day.
I remember it like cutting just the nail in half. It was like still attached, and there's just a crack through it, and it was bleeding.
Oh my god, someone put in the chat, one of my friends plays lacrosse, I don't know what that
Lacrosse,
means,
lacrosse.
and apparently one of his teammates didn't wear a cup. He got hit by a ball in the dick and lost a testicle.
Oh my god.
What?
That's terrible.
How do you lose a
Because-
testicle?
You just reminded me of a story. Oh my god! So there was this guy in my school
Losing a testicle.
who was like, I want to say autistic, but he's not autistic. He's like, he has excitable hormone syndrome.
Ah.
Is what they call it. So he's super over the fucking top about some things. He'd be really chill, but he definitely seems special. He was told, you're fat, by some other kid just being a complete nuisance, just calling him fat for no reason, right? It's not usually that offensive for him. And he said, take that back. And he goes, he started like swearing at him and shit. And his response was fine. And he walked up to him. Bear in mind, this guy's like 7 foot, like a little 4 foot, maybe 5 foot kid. They're in the same year, but he's just hormones. He's huge. He grabbed the kid by the balls through his trousers and just like, have you read of Mice and Men?
No.
Or like seen the film?